Studio A at Ohlone Network Television. This is Ohlone Network News.
Hello, I'm Carlos De La Torre.
And I'm Ron Mespin, and you're watching Ohlone Network News.
The search continues tonight for survivors of a Korean ferry that rolled over today and sank with approximately 450 people aboard. 300 of the passengers were high school students that were on a field trip. At least 164 people have been rescued and pulled out of the 50-degree water. Passengers heard a bang while they were eating breakfast and the ship began to sink. They say it took about 2 hours to sink, and survivors said that they were told to stay in place, but this could have led to a greater loss of life. The cause of the sinking is still under investigation.
If you didn't vote in the student elections, you've missed your chance. They're over for this year. Today was the last day, with some candidates out campaigning to the end for last-minute votes. We visited the Fremont cafeteria to check the turnout out and see with students and why they voted.
In this country, years ago, African Americans were not allowed to vote. Actually, women weren't allowed to vote either. So for me, it's a deeper meaning, and I take every opportunity to vote.
I'm voting today because I was really admire one of the candidates that I spoke to. She's really impressive.
The polls, you can find out who the winners are tomorrow. The results will be posted on the door of the Associated Students of Ohlone College at room 7210 in Building 7.
The tense situation between Ukraine and Russia appears to be worsening. This morning, NATO announced that it will start flying military patrols near the Ukraine border with Russia. The move comes in response to the posting of Russian troops just over the same border. Meanwhile, in Ukraine's easternmost province, pro-Russian militias continue to occupy some government buildings. That is the same tactics that Russia used when it occupied the Crimea.
73-year-old white supremacist Fraser Glenn Miller Jr. remains in custody today. He is charged with Sunday's 3 murders at 2 Jewish community facilities near Kansas City. Miller was once a leader of the Ku Klux Klan, which in the 20th century lynched African Americans throughout the South. Those who study the Klan say it has lost its strength, but some members, like Miller, remain. Miller is known in the area as an anti-Semite. He shouted, "Heil Hitler," before he was arrested by police. None of his victims were Jewish. An Army Vietnam War veteran, he founded a local group called the White Patriot Party.
He has not been formally charged, and his motive still remains unknown. After the break, find out what Chilean city is in a state of emergency.
And we'll check in for the buzz, so stay tuned.
You told me that smart was cool.
You always told me to dream big.
To all of those parents who took the time to make raising their children their most important job, we'd like to say,
thank you.
Thank you.
From the bottom of my heart, thanks, Mom and Dad.
This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Welcome to Cook It Safe Challenge, where teams compete to make the right decisions about safe food preparations. Our challenge in this round, read and follow packaged cooking instructions and use a food thermometer. Let's see how our teams are doing so far. Team 1.
We just got 100 points. We separated our raw food from our cooked food.
Team 2.
We got a 100-point green card for proper hand washing before our meal prep.
We've reached a critical safety point in the challenge. Okay, Team 1, let's check this out. Uh-oh, not a safe internal temperature for those hamburgers. That puts everyone at high risk for foodborne illness. You get a red card, undercooked. Always read and follow the package cooking instructions and use a food thermometer. Let's see how our winning team cooked it safe and avoided problems.
Well, I just kept focused on the 4 food safety steps: clean,
separate, cook, and chill. And we followed the package cooking instructions and took the temperature.
Can you cook it safe?
The fire in Valparaiso, Chile started on Friday and has finally been contained. To end the fire, it took more than 1,200 firefighters. President Michelle Bachelet put the city under military control. Parts of the city have been evacuated. With hundreds of homes destroyed, the city is being called a disaster zone. Temporary shelters have been set up for the Chilean residents impacted. 12 people have been confirmed dead.
A big name in spoken word is coming to Ohlone. Roel Balan is standing by live with details.
Javon Johnson is a two-time National Slam Poetry Champion. He will be here at the Numi Theater this Friday at 1 p.m. He's been on HBO and BET. His spoken word poetry is about racial injustice and African American history. Let's take a listen to his work. This piece is about the struggles black youth encounter with the police.
That I'm more human than I am hero. We both know the truth is far more complex than do not hide. Both know too many black boys who disappeared, names lost, know too many Trayvon Martins, Oscar Grants, and Abner Louimas, know too many Sean Bells and Amadou Diallos, know too well that we are the hard-boiled sons of Emmett Till still. We both know it's not about whether or not the shooter is racist. It's about how poor black boys are treated as problems well before we're treated as people. Black boys in this country cannot afford to play cops and robbers if we're always considered the latter. Don't have the luxuries of playing war if we're already in one. Where I'm from, seeing cop cars drive down the street feels a lot like low-flying planes in New York City. Where I'm from, routine traffic stops are more like minefields. Any wrong move could very well mean your life. And how do I look my nephew in his apple face and tell him to be strong when we both know black boys who are murdered every day simply for standing up for themselves? I take him by the hand, I say be strong.
The event is free. The event is free and open to the public. It'll start at 1 p.m. this Friday here at the Smith Center. That's it from here. Back to you.
Thank you, Roel. That was Roel Balan reporting live on the Ohlone campus. Now it's time for a weekly Hollywood buzz with our man, Alex Larone. Alex?
Universal announced today Paul Walker's replacement for the Fast and Furious series. Fast and Furious 7 will resume filming in a couple of weeks with Paul Walker's brothers filling in the roles of the series' most popular characters. Production was stopped on the film after Walker's death in December, and according to The Hollywood Reporter, Walker's character will retire in the 7th movie, not killed off as initially perceived. Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert are divorcing. Just kidding. The couple responded to rumors on Twitter with Shelton saying, quote, "I hope I get all the liquor in the divorce." Then Lambert added, "And the imaginary baby?" The two were recently seen together at the American Country Music Awards earlier this month as they appeared as co-hosts for the night. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, aka Will and Kate, have been in New Zealand with their little guy, Prince George. The royal family is on their first trip to the Southern Hemisphere, and they got to play around with future members of the New Zealand Bomb Squad, meet up with rugby royalty in Christchurch, and introduced the little George to some new friends before jetting off to Sydney, Australia this morning. And that's it for the buzz. Back to you.
Coming up, how do you get an airline to follow you on Twitter?
And will the spring weather last all week? That and more when we come back.
You can't text and pay attention to the world around you, and you definitely can't text and drive. Every year, deaths due to distracted and negligent driving are increasing. In fact, while drunk driving rates have dropped greatly, negligent driving fatalities have skyrocketed. Find out more at negligentdriving.com.
You can eradicate polio. You can promote peace. You can feed the hungry. You can help children do better in school. Because you can get involved with Rotary. Because Rotary believes that by working together, you can do anything. Learn more at Rotary.org.
As
kids, we take on some tough opponents every day. Too much TV, soda after soda, junk food, and their captain, obesity. And the best way to beat this lineup is to get out and play soccer. Running with friends, kicking a ball, playing outside every day. You can do it. You're a winner. Get out and get in the game.
Dozens of teenagers have been tweeting fake bomb threats to American Airlines after a 14-year-old Dutch girl tweeted a fake bomb threat on Monday. The girl, known as Sarah, tweeted, quote, "Hello, my name is Ibrahim and I'm from Afghanistan. I'm part of Al-Qaeda and on June 1st, I'm going to do something really big. Bye." In response, American Airlines forwarded the tweet and her IP address to the FBI, who brought the girl in for questioning yesterday.
Suicide strikes much closer to home than you may think. Our campus is trying to raise awareness about this issue. Here's Edgar Pacheco with the story.
According to the latest data from Ohlone's Office of College Advancement, 21% of Ohlone students say they have considered suicide in the last year. The annual Out of the Darkness Walk is aimed at lowering that number. Walkers circled the Fremont campus on Monday. The event began with a ceremony and speakers who share how suicide affected them.
And this coming December will mark 4 years since my brother committed suicide. His loss was and remains just devastating to his family and friends. We miss him deeply and we long to see him again.
Family members and supporters released doves to remember those who fell victim to suicide.
1, 2, 3.
The walk started in front of the library and went around the perimeter of the campus. But this wasn't just a walk. This event also helped raise funds that will contribute to vital research and education. I talked to a Ohlone student to find out why she participated and what those Out of the Darkness means to her. Sally Bratton, who's the director of Ohlone Student Health Center, helped organize the event and describe Ohlone's mental health program. We also spoke with Charlie Kaminsky, who is part of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and asked her why events like this are important. For more information about suicide and its prevention, go to the Foundation website at asfp.org. In Fremont, I'm Edgar Pacheco for the Ohlone Network News.
Monday night was a special night for stargazers as a rare lunar eclipse was seen in the night sky. The lunar eclipse, called a blood moon, is the cause of the Earth preventing the light of the sun from hitting the moon. When that happens, the moon glows a reddish color. If you missed it, there will be 2 more blood moons within the next year.
Are sunny skies going to be in our future? Let's check in with Gerard Duya for the latest in weather.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at today's highs in the Tri-City area. Fremont coming in really strong at 76, and in Union City and Newark at a mere 73. I'm just kidding, it's still also warm. So now let's move on to tonight's lows. For the most part, temperatures are in the low 50s, as you can see. But in some places along the coast, like in San Rafael over here, is going to be 49. And all the way to the east at Livermore, it's also going to be 49. So moving on to tomorrow's highs. Along the coast, it's going to be a bit cooler. San Francisco is going to be at 64. And over here at Half Moon Bay, 59. But as we move toward inland, it's going to get a bit warmer in the 70s. As you can see, Livermore is going to be 75. And in the South Bay, San Jose, 73. So let's check in with the 5-day forecast next. It's pretty much going to be partly cloudy for the rest of the week. Along the coast, the temperatures are going to be in the high 60s. East Bay cities are going to be in the low 70s. And of course, inland, it's going to be in the high 70s. But if you're going to be out Easter egg hunting on Sunday, wear some comfortable clothes like I am right now, because come Monday, you got to trade that in for an umbrella. There's going to be a slight chance of rain then. And that's it for your weather this week. Back to you guys.
Next, games, hunts, and play-by-play.
See you here in 2 minutes.
It takes more than perfect balance.
More than a great pair of legs.
More than a good sword. It takes more than just talent.
More than the will to win.
It takes you.
It takes your donations to support the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams. And now you can donate on Facebook.
He's done it! The U.S. has done it!
Support the U.S. Olympic team on Facebook and donate to make Olympic dreams come true.
I remember the night that I would have graduated, a sinking feeling came over me that my life was going to be difficult. Your life becomes almost like a minefield, not being able to read or write in a literate world. Each day you walk out of your door, there's a challenge out there waiting for you. There's that possibility of being discovered as a non-reader. I knew that I had to change. And I remember calling down to the library and making an appointment. They did an assessment to find out where my reading and writing and spelling and grammar and all that was. And at the end, they said it's somewhere between the 3rd and 4th grade level. My first tutor was Lindy. She was the first one that ever said to me, I believe you can do it. And today, I'm sitting here with a bachelor's degree. It took you in my life. For that, I will always be indebted and grateful to you.
To get help with your reading or to volunteer, visit your local library or go to libraryliteracy.org.
Congratulations on the promotion.
I hope you're saving the extra money.
You got to put it in stocks.
If you want to get ahead.
No, bonds.
And CDs.
Stick it under the mattress.
Getting plenty of advice, but not enough facts? Visit saveandinvest.org. No confusing advice, no sales pitch, just unbiased information and tools to help you manage your money with confidence. Saveandinvest.org.
Have you ever wanted to become a play-by-play sports commentator? Have you ever wondered how those big-time voices on radio and television got their jobs? Ohlone received a surprise visit yesterday from one of the best in the Bay. Here's Alan Beck with the story.
That's because broadcast legend Randy Hahn was about to make a special appearance. Randy came to Ohlone to talk about how he broke into a career in broadcasting. He also spoke about what it was like being the announcer for the Sharks since their conception. Randy talked about the pros and cons of a career in broadcasting. He took questions from students and spoke to the class about his favorite moments as a broadcaster.
Here's the backstory to the backstory. But to see a guy stick with something that long, until he was 32, to finally get his first goal, to me was so inspirational.
He also gave students tips on how to succeed and spoke very passionately about not giving up.
If there's something you're passionate about and you dream about and it's your vision, don't let people sidetrack you. Don't let people force you into something that you don't want to do.
And when Randy was finished, he was more than willing to sign autographs and take pictures. Go Sharks! For the Ohlone Network's news, this is Alan Beck.
Let's have a look into the sports world with Kevin Wyant. Take it away.
Thank you, Marone. We're going to skip the small talk and go right into some extra inning cross-California games, Major League Baseball style. Giants and Dodgers and players across the nation celebrated Jackie Robinson Day yesterday by wearing his number 42. The game was scoreless until the second inning when number 42 on the Dodgers hits a homer for the first score of the game. You see it being shot towards the Coke bottle. Fast forward to the 10th inning with the score tied 2-2. Number 42 on the Giants dives for first base. And as you can see here, he's originally ruled out. However, the runner believes otherwise. Replays do show that the runner reached the base and the rule ends up being overturned. You see the referees and the umpires discussing the matter. A pop fly brings the game to the 12th inning. This game still tied 2-2. The game was brought to about midnight here on the West Coast, and number 42 on the Giants hits a line drive down the middle to ice the game for the Giants as they win the very first game of their series. Final score, 3-2. Now we'll go right into the A's and Angels, also wearing number 42 to commemorate Jackie Robinson. Scores begin early as number 42 on the Angels hits one down the line for their first score of the game. You see number 42, the Angels running in. Score 1-9. Later, the game would eventually reach the 11th inning. The score tied 9-9. Here you see it go down a baseline, and an A's player, also wearing number 42, scores, and the score is now 10-9. With the hopes for the Angels looking dim and faces and smiles of the A's looking bright, number 42, the A's pitches, a grounder hits a shortstop, and there is an easy out on first base. A's clinch their win, the first win of the series. Final score, 10-9. Alden Smith, the Niners' first-round pick back in 2011, has showed his worth on field to the organization, but has also shown some rather reckless behavior after having 2 previous DUI arrests. The linebacker was arrested and charged with a false report of a bomb threat on Sunday, April 13th at LAX. Several sources have released information that Smith will likely not play for the Niners in 2014. The Niners have a May 3rd deadline to determine Smith's future, a $9.75 million option. Free agency, be prepared. And that's all in the world of sports. Back to you guys.
Easter, the holiday of eggs and bunnies, is Sunday. Today, Ohlone students lined up to search for eggs and to talk Mr. Rabbit. It happens every year. The Ohlone bunny made a serious fashion statement, and worth it. The bunny as an Easter symbol goes back several hundred years, judging if kids were good enough to deserve eggs and prizes, which the searchers made sure of. They put the eggs out themselves. And now you know.
And they say that this program is not educational. Thank you for watching. For Alex Lerone and Gerard Duya, I'm Carlos De La Torre.
And for Kevin Wyans and all of us here at Ohlone Network News, I'm Rowan Mespin. Good night.